Hi, welcome to my digital journalist series. I'm going to be taking posting online or doing a proper formatted post online. So for this theme, you would go to post and click the new post. Now that you're on this page, I must say this video is for classic editor, and since most of our journalists, bloggers and co would still prefer to stick with the classic editor, I'm going to be taking most or all of these videos in classic editor. So if we have anyone that would prefer the block editor, which is the new editor that WordPress use, let me know. So let's continue. So after you click post new, add new, you would have this interface where you can post your new content. First and foremost, I need you to be familiar with these screen options. So screen options shows you what is here, what is available here and what is not. So if you had go through all of this, you would realize that most of the things you need to do are here. So before we go through this place, let me show you how these affects what is available here or not. So I'm going to untick all of these settings and come back here. You would notice that I've lost almost everything, if not everything. So this is a typical apart from this feature, this is a typical basic WordPress post function that you would see, or the post features that you see. Most of the things here are what are brought in by us. So this Genius social meta is for social media sharing and of course some other social media functions. This review, I wouldn't be showing this. Okay, so let's go straight to what you will need and what you will probably not need as a starter of this course. You wouldn't need this for starters, so I wouldn't take this. You wouldn't need this for starters. I'm going to take a typical video tutor course on this on its own. You wouldn't need this for starters, and this is going to have its own video on its own. Video option, you wouldn't need this in this video. Simple post settings, single post settings, you wouldn't need this in the video. Just as well, you wouldn't need this in this video. You would need excerpts, and you would need slug and primary category, categories, tag and featured image. So basically what you would need in this first tutorial is excerpt, slug, primary category, categories, tag and featured image. So let's get to work. Normally when you get your text, people usually try to use this visual editor to edit your text right away. It's not a bad idea, but it's not so good when you're copying text from a web page, because the moment you copy a text from a web page and paste it here, you would be copying every editing and the internal link and external link of that text you're copying, and that is not so much good. So this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to the text editor. Now I have posts that I've pasted here. One of the reasons you should also paste your post in Notepad is so that it strips off all the formatting and the linking and every other thing. So it basically makes this post a total text. Now let's go ahead. Number one, I intentionally choose columnist because I've been noticing a lot of error on how to use the columnist content. So for instance, the title of this post says the state of the economy, of course by Dele Ali, and this is what we would do typically. Now this is not supposed to be here because Dele Ali is the author. I am not newsing this. If this is news, then it's okay for me to say, okay, I'm quoting Dele Ali. But since this is a columnist, and for the sake of SEO and trying to buy into the traffic of people searching for Dele Ali online, I don't think it is okay for us to have Dele Ali here. And we can now move on. Yeah, sometimes I've had some questions about this is how it is done in journalism, and this is how it is not done in journalism. But I would say I've seen some of these international bodies and international platform we look up to that do this very well, and this is mainly because of the SEO. You don't want to just put these and not want to buy into the fans or the readers of this Mr. Dele Ali. So for instance, if someone is searching for Dele Ali only online, and we have been doing this properly, this set or this content is likely going to come up, most especially when we have much more of Dele Ali content that have trend online. So it's better we take this off. And I don't know if there is a better way to now do this in journalism way. Well, fine, but it's most important that we point that out, because Dele Ali is the author of this content and we are not newsing the content. So let's move on. I will not go and copy the content proper. Please note, I'm copying this content from Notepad and I'm bringing it into the text editor, not the visual editor. Paste your content. This way I have stripped all formatting, all links and everything that would have come with this, because we need a proper formatting. Whatever you're copying this from might not have proper formatting, and you would see that as I move on. So now that I have copied here, I can now go to the visual editor. You should have a proper non-formatted text that you can now start formatting. Now, before I go there, you will notice that I jumped something. It's called enter it says enter subtitle. Yeah, it's like what do you call it in journalism, tagline, or maybe a subtitle. There is a proper English in your journalism, but I can't remember that right now. So this gives you room to say something about how to buttress your title and say maybe how the Nigerian states have been performing so far. Okay, so the moment you have this, WordPress automatically grabs it and give you a link. Please, I must say this: you cannot post with uncategorized link. It gives you it from the linking to the SEO to properly redirecting, and because by the time you start doing this, and by the time I post this and I now decide to correct it later, I'm doing redirecting, and the more redirects we have on the site, the slower it becomes. So we just don't want to, I'm not saying you can't do redirect, but we cannot always have our content being redirected because of this error. I mean, it's not one of the best thing or the best position you want to find yourself. So first and foremost, I'll go here and pick wherever my content belong to. My content should not belong to more than one or two categories. I've also seen a lot of us do this more often. I'll buttress this in some other video. I don't want this to be very long, but I would say if this is columnist, just choose columnist. So for instance, I don't have columnist in this test site, so I'm just going to choose opinion, which is also the same thing, or that this which also goes along with columnist. So since it's columnist, I'll choose columnist, and maybe let's assume it's a news content, for instance, and probably it goes with maybe 2 categories, or maybe this is also something that can kind of go with maybe business, or we have a category called economy. So I can now choose that. Then I need to make primary. Then this is already the primary. Let's assume this is what's supposed to be the primary. I need to just make primary, and it takes it from this immediately. I don't know if you've noticed that. So I can make this primary now, so you should notice that. Then you come up and edit. If you don't like this link, you can edit it, but if you do, you can leave it. But the fact that I've changed this category, by the time I'm publishing, it is going to correct this for me. Let's note that and move on. So formatting my text. Whenever I have content like this, it is best that I format it. It is a standard for bigger media houses to make sure that their content are always formatted. It gives the reader a ease of reading. It increases your readability, which is a very strong part of SEO. I'm going to talk about that too when I get to SEO. So you need, and you always need, to format your content. And I'm going to do some very, very simple steps that are just going to be all round clicks. No coding, nothing like techie. So this bar is called toggle bar. The moment I click on this bar, it's going to unveil more formatting for me, and now I have a lot of options. Before, all I have is just this. So all I could do before is to centralize, or I mean, the align, decentralize, the left align and the right align, and probably bold and unbold. Those are the things I could do before. And then of course indents and numbering, bullets and numbering rather. But the moment you click this, you have more option. Now, one of the great options that we have right now on our platform is the drop cap. Yeah, drop cap gives the print readers a sense of familiarity whenever they are going online, and it is usually very great when you have the ages of 40 up reading your content. They are usually 90 to 99% familiar with drop caps, and it gives them that I feel at home feeling. So you want to hit the drop cap button so that it affects whatever you want to do. Okay, so because we have a quote before the O, the drop cap has automatically leave that out. So you want to pick it together and that corrects our challenge. So that is an example. This is totally your choice to use it whenever you want to use it and whenever you don't want to use it. I know maybe if you're writing about entertainment, maybe music, you probably be looking at it as, okay, I'm targeting a much more younger audience, and I wouldn't blame a 15-16-year-old if they feel like, oh, what's this? I mean, it's not really what they probably are used to. I wouldn't know, but I think a couple of us, even from the 30s, should probably be used to this, because of course we did a lot of print too. So let's go to the next thing. The next thing I would like to talk about is subhead. Whenever we are editing our text, we usually don't pinpoint some certain parts that we need people to look at, and this is a very good example. I wouldn't want to say this is a little bit long before we have one. I mean, that's totally your judgment. So I believe that we would know where to find one or where to insert a proper subhead. But this is an example of where we should have put a subhead, and your subheading is not just adding bold. Please note, we are killing SEO, and I'm going to, of course, elaborate that in SEO. Your subhead is heading, and it's heading 2, not 1, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. Always heading 2. That is what Googlebot is looking for. Heading 2. Let's look for another one. Heading 2. So let's move up a bit and see if we can find another one. So I think we've handled the subhead. Another thing I would like to touch for your formatting is quote. Now this is a quote. Quoting helps us hold down the user or the reader when the contents are usually long. So for instance, if I am a reader and I'm already going through this, it gets to a stage I might probably start getting bored. So this is what you do. I look for a nice quote, either it's quoted or not, and I bring it. Okay, so this says yet nobody. So I'm going to assume that this is a very nice quote. Copy it. Now, this is what people usually do. We add quote to this. No, this is not how to add quote. Even in the print days, quote is just a pull out of a certain part of your content. Because I needed it as a quote doesn't mean that I'm going to delete it or I'm going to not have that part in my content again. So this is the proper way to have quotes. I'm going to copy this, then I'm going to move up where I feel like the content might start getting boring. Hit enter and put it like a new paragraph, and now I have my quotes. this is the WordPress default code, but thankfully we have a better one here. So you can remove this and you can see this code here. You can either add the code to left, which is it, like this. So I think you should now be familiar with the kind of code I'm talking about right now. Or I would just like to use center. So as this user is going through this person can actually go through these codes, then continue, because this code, which is supposed to be the very nice catchy part that I've dragged from somewhere here, would now make this person feel like, oh, let me continue reading. So this is one of the things that we use to bring or pull down our users and increase our time spent on site. And yes, you can use more than one code. You can still find another one and reuse. Let's say this is another code, for instance, and I want to put it around here. Codes, center, insert. So I have my codes and I have two codes in this. Now the next step is to add featured image. Adding featured image is just a few steps. So if you look at this side, it will say, it says featured image and sets featured image. Now I must say this, I also noticed that we usually do this. Almost everybody I know online do this. It's a certain print culture that has been brought online, because it's a columnist, because it is an opinion. We automatically wants to use the person's picture. Yeah, it's good, but the proper way for the sake of SEO is to use a picture that goes along with the content, and then the technical people, the webmasters and co, can find a way to bring the person's picture alongside with the content. So instead of having the person's featured image as the content. Now I'm not saying that it is a bad practice. I'm just saying that there is a better way to achieving success with that content, which is using a picture that goes along with this. So one of the things we also do is that we usually don't want to rethink what image goes well with this, and our image quality and the more often we get new images really affects the looks, the SEO and everything about the site. So I'll go to images.google.com and I'll just rethink. Usually how it's easy for me to do is just pick the keyword that I think I'm going to be working with. I'm not going to be talking about SEO in this video. I'm going to say that again, but of course there is no way you want to talk about posting that you're not going to touch SEO. So I just mentioned that keyword, Nigerian economy. So I just use my keyword to search for the image I'm going to use. Now it's nice using these images, and yes, of course it's nice because I am going to be crediting them, but I would like to see what the images look like, and I am going to be assuming that I have read that content and I know what the content is about. So the content is just telling us about maybe inflation and how things are not inflation in the Nigerian economy. So this is saying facts about Nigerian growing debt. So this is about debt. I wouldn't want to talk about this because I said it's about inflation. Okay, a marketplace is going to give me a very good picture of idea of things are getting inflated, because of course that's where you feel it first, the market. So okay, this is another one, but this is an infographic image which is not bad, but I mean this is too much like uh how can I put it in? It's too much like a logo like image, and having this too often might distort the look of the site. So okay, this having text also may help, but it's not going with the title. It's a little bit Nigerian economy sustainability plan. Okay, maybe it might, but I think I should just go, because this is not my job actually. So I think I should just go with the Nigerian market view. So I try to elaborate on that so that you can know how much important it is for us to be very, very, very elaborate with the picture we are putting alongside our image. I think this picture is not that clear for me enough. I don't know if it's my system, so I'll go for another image. Okay, I think this is much more sharper. Now, for me to get this image, I need to go to the site, and you will know why very soon. So I need to make sure that this image is crediting or not crediting any site. Now, if I'm picking this image from a very, very credible source, like Guardian, for instance, I might not have to credit Google Image. I would just credit Guardian, because I mean they understand what it means to use image and not credit the author of the image. So I'm going to save this image, then use. Okay, let me talk you through that. Featured image, click on set featured image, then click select file, then the image. Okay, I think I even have the image before. Now this is why I have to look for who owns the image. So sometimes the source you're picking the image for will probably have credited someone. It's just okay for you to copy whatever they've credited, but now they didn't credit anybody, and I feel like, oh, these people usually credit their image, so since they are not crediting it now, it is theirs. So I'm going to do something like this caption: Lagos market, oh sorry, a market in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to do, and you will do it better, so forgive me if I'm messing up here. And then, so what I did is shift bar, that button on top of your shift, and then button on top of your enter. Then I said credits guardian.ng. That's their site that you credit. So you credit whatever you're bringing it from, or when you feel like, oh, this blogger, you don't think this person is the owner, you just credit Google Images. So that's it. Every other thing, now this is important, you can just say Lagos market, so that when someone is also searching for Lagos market picture, it's going to bring you bring that person down to your image, the one that you just uploaded. And of course you can bring that here too, but this time no space. You can leave description, or you can describe the image if you really want to. Then set as featured image. This image is now ready. Then finally, one thing we usually miss also is the inner media, meaning we do not put image or video in our content, which is not a good one. So we want to always look for what goes along with what this content is talking about and put an image. And that time I probably can use this image. I'm now assuming that I know what is going on there. Please, I'm assuming that I know what is going on in the content. So I'm not probably going to be picking images like this and use. Now this is pro share, and they already even put their watermark, so it is okay to credit them. I'm going to look for one more image because that content is a little bit long. And Nigeria's economy by sector, I'm also going to assume that this image will fit in, and this has already okay, this is just saying the source of the image, the source of the information, and I'm still going to be crediting premium times this time. So I've saved this, and I'm going to be saving this. So I go back into my content, and then I add media. Please notice that I first hit enter to create that space, then add media, upload, select files. Then I'll just select the two images I want to upload once. Then I will deselect one that I'm not using now, so that this one only is selected. So you see, then of course some caption text here again. Then of course you might say credit, you might not, people will not automatically understand what you're saying. So pro share, I hope that's the right spelling of their name. So, and of course the alt image, whatever this image is talking about, is what you should put here. Then insert into post. Now if you notice, this is very small compared to what I have when I was saving it. So you have to click back and edit. Look at this, medium, change it to full size, then update. You can see this now. So you can also just centralize or drag so that you have the content. So you have the left align, the right align, or just decentralize. So I love decentralize because it makes the content look cleaner. Then I'm going to look for one place where I'm going to put the last image, and then add media again. Don't forget I've already added this. Then of course always use caption. And I must say, the moment you use caption, the moment you use the caption once, it is always there. Okay, let me go back to the old ones that I've used. Look at the caption. Look at the caption. So it's not like it's a very big job that every time you want to use it you have to put caption. The moment you put the caption once, it is always there whenever you want to reuse the image. So always use caption on all images. So that's my caption. I hope you understand that. Then of course, credits or not credits, then you can say credits, you can say image credits. I'm sure you will do this better than myself, of course. And I can say Google images, and then insert. The same problem. So you edit, full size, just centralize it once and update. We good. Okay, I need to quickly note this. Maybe you feel a little bit boring in some places. You can just bold, maybe you just need to shout that place. You can bold. It makes your contents a little bit popping. So you can bold some few texts that you think would do well to catch the reader's attention. So permit me to whatever. I'm going to assume that that is a very nice punchline. You can bold, and as well, look at it. Let me unbold, and as well you can highlight. Look at this guy, highlight. Just click. It's going to ask you for the highlight color. So I want the highlight color, the one that will be at the background of the text. So we say yellow. Yeah, yellow is cool for me. Then the text should remain white. I'm not sure if that is going to be a very good combination, but let's confirm. Okay, the text should be black rather, don't mind me. Text should be black. Yellow or your orange. I think that yellow is too harsh. Then the text should be black. Yeah, let's try this. Yes, so this is what the highlights can do to your content. So like you see, we've been able to format our text. Let me highlight another part. If that is going to make us okay. This says daily something. There is a quote here. Okay, let's just highlight the quote, orange, or should we just do brand things? I think that makes sense. Black. Yeah, it's very harsh to the highs. Yeah. Okay, let me just do the orange and black. I mean, you can play with your colors and decide which one is best for you. Okay, so that's that. There is a part I need us to quickly touch that we don't have the opportunity, and it's the bulletin and the listing part. So I'm going to just do that manually. Let's assume that we have a list of 1 plate of rice, 2 wraps of pounded yam, and 1 bottle of origin. Because I'm doing this here now. It's giving me a little bit of challenge, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is I should have do this here. You know, let's assume I've brought the content in with this, so I can now introduce bullets. So if I just click on this and hit the bullet, I can now backspace, hit enter, backspace, hit enter, and that is solved. Okay, let me just copy and use it to create the numbering. So because I already have the bullet, if I hit the number, it should correct itself. But let's assume I don't have the bullet before. It's still the same thing as backspace, hit enter. So that's it. Okay, if you want to continue typing and this guy seems like it wants to disturb you, just after your first enter, hit it once again. You will lose the bulletin on the numbering. So that's it for formatting your text. Now let's post this. Okay, finally. Before I post, I was going to omit this, but I mean it's not ideal, because it's one of those things that WordPress will immediately save when you're posting, is your tag. I'm going to elaborate more during SEO, but now I need to tag. Now tagging this content is very easier. I'm going to say Nigeria economy. Look at the comma I put so that it separates the Nigeria from the economy. Then of course I'm going to say, okay, it's supposed to be Nigeria economy. Then of course Nigeria economy, comma again, then Dele Shubawale, because I'm dealing with its content, and of course any other keyword that you feel like okay, like this, like Mohammed. I'm assuming that I understand the content, so of course I'm going to be doing this like Mohammed Gabashew, and so this is going to be comma, then the comma is here. Then I click add. You can see this, and of course you can add it one after the other. Let me look for another one. Central Bank of Nigeria. After adding all this, I can still add more, adding one after the other. So that's that for tags. So we've touched the title, the subtitle, the link, the formatting of the content inside media, and featured image, tab, highlights, quotes, subhead, and finally we need to touch excerpts. So if you do not put these excerpts, WordPress is automatically going to pick an excerpt for itself, and it's going to pick it from the first paragraph somewhere around here. But sometimes you probably have a better part that you want to use as excerpts, and which is the best thing to do, because the excerpt is what the readers would see first before they get into the content. So let's assume that this part is a very catchy part that I want to use for an excerpt. This is what I'm going to copy, and I'm going to put it here in my excerpt. So that's that for excerpt. Slug. Slug is also online, is also not different to this. So if you edit this, that is going to affect this slug. So you probably don't want to disturb yourself about slug. For starters, when I want to elaborate on it, we should touch that. I think this video is not long enough. Then finally, don't forget, I removed this name initially, but we need to credit the author. Yes, we would, and this is where we are going to credit the author. Let me go up here. Don't we have author? Should have author. Okay, so there was a permission issue, so I've been able to sort that. So I have authors available as an option here now. So I need to now go to author, and I'm currently using Olufemi Ajasa as the author. So the moment I published this, it's automatically selected the user that is working on this, but that is not the author, so you can delete that. Then pick the name of the author and add new guest. If you click here, you will have noticed that Elijah Bello is already available there as a guest. So let's assume someone have added Shoboale before. You will always have Shoboale there. And please let us always search. If I search, you will notice, even if I search with Bello, you will still see Elijah Bello, so that we don't keep adding Elijah Bello and Bello Elijah and some misspellings of the name. So always let us check for the author before we add. So because I don't have Wale Shoboale, and the moment you even pressed the name, you would notice that that person is not available. But the moment you notice that that person is not available, you can now add guest, author, and click add. And now Dele Shoboale is an author. Let's remove this, yeah, because it's going to reload and pick Dele Shoboale here, because we've now had Dele Shoboale. Now we can publish. I've already published when I was trying to drag fix that auto challenge or auto issue, but I promise you won't have that challenge because it's working fine on the live site. So that's it. Let's preview what we have. So, state of the Nigerian economy, the subtitle, and by Dele Shoboale. Then of course the content, flows, image, the caption. If you look up here, you still have caption and image, credit, and then this, and then the quote. So this is a feature that comes with our site too, so that users can tweet or share a particular text to Facebook, not just the quotes, any part you can see. And now the bullet and the numbering, then of course the highlight. The media, again the image, the subhead, quotes, of course, again, and then your tags, and that's it. If you have any question about this, you can let me know. Thank you.